Each and every application able to navigate from one page to another page. So how to efficiently route in our Angular application? Let us see in this video. Hi all, I'm Lakshman. As a part of our Angular best practice series, today we are going to see how to implement and efficiently use routing in our Angular application. Without wasting any time, let's check our steps. Number one, we will see our prerequisites, and number two, I will demonstrate how the routing will need to be configured and routing how we could use it. So without wasting any time, let's get started. Let us see our prerequisites first. We need to install Node.js, either it is LTS version or current version. And number two, it's Angular CLI. If you already have it, it's okay. If you're a new one, kickstarting your first Angular projects, so you can just install your Angular CLI and type ng new with the project name for creating your first Angular project. And for the IDE, we are going to use Visual Studio Code. So that's it from the prerequisite. Next, move on to explore, and we will demonstrate how the routing works and how to implement efficiently. This is our Angular best practices sample source code where we deploy this application in cloud. So first, let us see how the routing files looks like. By default, each and every application consists of apps routing. What we need to have in the app routing? The first and foremost thing, if there are two types of applications routing based on your application structure. If you are structuring your application on module basis, we can split the routing between each and every modules, which is, if you see this reactive form routing which we declared in the reactive form module, we can add or we can import this model in our main app routing. When we import the main on the routing, it adds this routing inside our application. And the first and foremost thing on routing is always app routing files. All the routing files has to be the last one in the list, irrespective of any modules. Most of the people, it seems to see that app model will be in the top of the imports because they used to add more modules and they will forgot to downgrade the app routing at the end of the imports, because when you add this routing, it's added to before, the routing may work or may not. It will add more complexity on your page routing. And first and foremost, kindly have your app routing at the end of the imports. This is the point and suggestion where I could suggest. And number two is, if you are handling the routing on module basis, kindly split the routing. Don't put all the routing in the app routing where it consists of some like this model's routing and all the routings like this bunch of things. Don't keep it like all routing in the single. If you are developing your application in a model basis, kindly split it. If this form consists of list and entry page, just kindly add it and have /id. And if it requires some other fields, you can just add /id/code, where we can have a resolver, or we can add a can activate based on the routing. So if this is for the admin and this is for the normal users, we can able to split those things inside the routing. So one of the best and foremost advantage of routing is it navigates a page, and we need to simplify the routing on model basis if you are working in model. And if you are not working on the model based structure, which is you have a hello component or some home and it consists of lots of components inside this module, I prefer you to add all the routings inside that hello modules on sequential basis, and kindly add the main path options also in the same module, which helps you to initially fetch the first page and it navigates on further. And there was other options also on using the routing. One of the main options is you could have implement resolver where the data where we need to come. If you have any doubts on this resolver and how to implement it, I already had a video regarding this, so you can have a look after it. And if you have any doubts on how to structure your model based model based Angular app, you can see my another video called structuring Angular app in the Angular best practice series. So what we could actually need to do is we need to specify the path, components and data. And data is something where we could just send the data, which is we can use it in the components page. If we see this, where I will be using some data here, and in the application app routing we can use some options where it fetches the data and it displays. So routing is one of the foremost and most complex in the Angular application if you are developing a mobile application, and kindly ensure that you have your routing specific on model basis. And I more prefer you to have a model based routing and model based structural development for your best Angular applications. So now let us see how to add some multiple options and how to add some resolvers to it. This is the one of the page where we have already implemented our resolver. One of the main and foremost on the routing is we could do whatever the informations we need to fetch, and we can even validate whether this route is eligible for this user with the auth guard with some can activate options, can activate and can activate childs, which is can activate indicates that where this user is able where when the user logs in, if it is an for an admin user, only admin can able to view this page and no other else were able to view this page. Likewise, we can able to define some strategy on activating this route. And if we have some other routing options, if we could even have some other options also to do slash admin, we could have other list of components where we could add admin components. Likewise, it's not present, but we could able to do list page only for the normal users and list page only for the admin. Based on the routing we can able to prescribe it, and with the resolver it helps us to fetch this information from the service and it displays it, which helps it most a lot. And one of the main thing, if you are working with a mobile application where we need to check this index or HTML is one of the foremost thing, and you should have a base href as slash as almost. It's because when the navigation happens and if the navigation doesn't respond to the actual slash, if we have something else here, it may crash or it may mislead our routing. And I will request all and everyone to make a routing based on the routing module, not on the windows.href or some location reload. If you want to route any pages or any other options, I prefer you to use some active link options or this kind of href which is actually working pretty much nicely. Or else we could have a route link with the route option as home. Like this we can able to have that our route links options, and as for if we require it, and I prefer you all to make the navigations mostly on the routing.href, which is this dot routing. Let me demonstrate you something where I have routing to page this dot route dot navigate page. We could able to use like this also. Instead of this href we could have a hello instead of this. What we could do is just replace this with this. And use this. So this will navigate our page via this navigate option, and I prefer to use navigate like this. And when you are working with the back and forth option, I have already written a blog record via storage accounts managing your routing back and forth. I will add a link in the description below so that you can able to handle the back and forth navigation too. And that concludes this demonstration of routing, and I hope you will all able to do routing based on model basis and efficiently use this routing models inside your application so it doesn't breaks your Angular flow. On Angular application, if you want to make some page navigation, routing is one of the most essential part where we need to be check all the options and all the scenarios on routing. And I hope I am able to give some tips on regarding the routing and how we need to structurize our routing in our Angular application. If you like these kind of content in Angular application, kindly give a thumbs up on this video and subscribe to the channel. So we will be posting each and every week a new video. Until then, I am Lakshman. Peace out.